So this is my 25-week update, sort of. It's more like my update from my appointments. So today is Thursday, and I am 25 weeks and 4 days. But my ultrasound was actually on Tuesday, and I was 25 weeks and 2 days. So just gonna go over the scan and announce her name, which I'm excited to do. So first of all, 25 weeks, she is the size of cauliflower. And it says 1.5 pounds to 2.2 pounds. And then 26 weeks, she would be the size of lettuce, and it says the same thing as far as the weight. So I guess the next few weeks aren't really like a big growing time. She did just have a big growth spurt, so that could have to do with it. So, my scan. Lots of information. It was good, I guess. I didn't feel like they were really even at all checking for Down syndrome at all this time. I was the only one that brought up Down syndrome in general. So there must be nothing really that is sticking out to them that when they're looking at her. But she was head down this time, so yay, good girl. I kind of feel like I know when she moved, but I'll get into that when I'm talking about my symptoms. So I'm going to go over her size. Basically, she's still small, and we're going back in a month to get another scan, just because they would just want to monitor her growth. Every time they're basically like, oh, nothing's wrong, but we just want to keep an eye on her. So I just wish it wasn't costing me $100 each time we were keeping an eye on her. This is actually done at the hospital and not in my doctor's office, so it's not included in like the price that they give me. So it is $100 each time we go do one of these scans. And that's after the insurance, I guess. So anyways, as far as her measurements, I actually have them all this time. I thought that they were going to put them on my disc with the pictures last time, and they didn't. So when she left the room to get the doctor, she left up the measurements, so I took a picture of it really quick. So I'm just going to go through the measurements. Her BPD, which is, I'm sorry, I'm reading this, which is biparietal diameter. Basically, from one side of the head of her head to the other. She measured 24 weeks and 4 days. Remember, all of these should be 25 weeks and 2 days. So she measured 24 weeks and 4 days, which is the 17th percentile. Her head circumference, which is around her head, measured 24 weeks and 3 days, which is 7th percentile. Her abdominal abdominal circumference, around her abdomen, measured 24 weeks and 1 day, so 11th percentile. Her femur length was 23 weeks and 2 days, which put us back into the less than 2 percentile. Her humerus, which the femur length, for anybody who doesn't know, the femur is your top bone in your leg, like your thigh bone. And that's the one that, if that one is really small compared to like the head and everything else, that's a marker for Down syndrome. So that's the one that I've kind of been watching. The humerus, which is your top arm bone, measured 24 weeks exactly. So that was the 14th percentile. The ulna, which is, you have two bones in your lower arm, and it's like the one that goes from your elbow up, and it's the longer of the arm bones. That one measured 25 weeks and 1 day. So that one was almost right on, but somehow that's still only 18th percentile. So I'm not really sure how that works out, but overall, as far as the percentages, nothing is over 20th percentile. The highest thing is 18th percentile. So as far as that femur length being less than 2 percentile, it's not as concerning because everything else isn't like normal size and then that being shorter. So she is just still measuring small. All of that gives us the AUA, which is the actual ultrasound age, of 24 weeks and 1 day. And my gestational age, like I said, is 25 weeks and 2 days. I think that they would have just changed my due date by now and then everything would be fine, but I know exactly when I ovulated, so they know that that's my gestational age is actually the gestational age. Um, so her heart rate was 132 beats per minute, which is good. And her weight, based on all those measurements, is 1 pound and 6 ounces. So, like I said, she should be between 1.5 to 2.2 pounds. So I think she's just a hair under that, because I think 1.5 would be 1 pound 8 ounces, right? Maybe. So she's just a little tiny bit under that. Um, so, so yeah, I mean, I guess everything was good with the scan. She's just still small. Oh, she, of course, was still being stubborn. She was head down, and she was still facing my spine, which was the problem last time as to why we couldn't get the good pictures of her heart. So she was facing my spine, so we got absolutely no pictures of her face whatsoever. They gave me like 3 pictures. One was like the back of her head, one was like her arm, and it looked blurry and weird. And I forget what the other one was, but they're not even, I didn't even put them on Facebook because they were like the dumbest pictures ever. But we didn't get to see her face at all, not even a profile shot or anything. She was moving around and stuff. She was awake this time and active, but she just would not flip over. Like always, she had her arms up by her head. That's how she lays, and she was just tucked down in there and would not turn. So because of that, they couldn't get the great picture of the heart. And she did get a decent picture of it, and she's like, okay, I can see the 4 chambers, and she turned the color on and did like the inflow and outflow. She said all that looked good. And this is when I brought up the Down syndrome, because the reason I originally went to get this scan was because they wanted to check for the heart defect that usually happens with Down syndrome, which I don't know details of what it is. But basically, in order to bring it up to her, I said, what is the heart defect you would be looking for Down syndrome, and could you see it? And she said, basically, when you look at those 4 chambers, it makes like a plus sign where the walls of the chambers are, and there would be like a hole in the middle. You wouldn't really see that plus sign. There'd be kind of like a hole. It'd just be lines. Well, she had already said previously, I see the good plus sign. I see that. And I said, okay, so that means that we'd be able to see it if there was a defect, like with what we've seen today. And she's like, probably. She's like, I'm pretty sure we would with what we saw today. So she said the plus sign was there, but she wasn't real confident that she could see that she needed to see. So who knows? I'm really hoping she flips around and the next time we can actually see. But from everything that we've seen so far, it looks good. She also turned the color on for the to look at the umbilical cord and see like the blood flow into her from the umbilical cord, and that was crazy because you can literally like see the blood flow like in her heart and in the umbilical cord. It's just insane. So that was really cool. So I think that's pretty much it for the ultrasound. Like I said in the last video, I had a midwife appointment on the 14th, and it was pointless at all, as always. I pretty much went in and they weighed me, took my blood pressure, asked me how I was feeling. They measured my stomach, which she had a student with her, and the student measured it, and I was talking to the midwife while the student was measuring it, so I forgot to ask, like, is it measuring okay? Because she's small, so like, is this, all that. So I don't know what the like measurement was of my stomach, but the nurse actually was trying to get the or I don't know what they are. I don't know. Anyways, the girl that brings me into the room before the midwife comes in, she usually does the Doppler and gets the heart rate, and she heard it. You could hear it a couple times, but she couldn't get it on there long enough to actually get a good reading because she kept moving around. So once the midwife came in, she got it on there and she got it right away. And she said it was between 150 and 160. She still didn't get it long enough to get like an exact, but she heard it long enough to know that it was between 150 and 160 and was good. So then they gave me my glucose drink for my glucose test, which will be March 14th, which is my next midwife appointment. And it actually sounds pretty good to me. Sorry, I'm moving. Um, it's like some lime stuff, and I've been told that since I love all these sugary drinks, I'm going to just love it. My latest kick is Cool Blue Gatorade. So, anyways, that will be on March 14th, and I don't know if it's just my doctor's office. I've heard so many people say that they go in for their glucose test. They have to drink the drink there, and they have to wait the hour or 2 hours or 3 hours in the doctor's office before, and then get the blood drawn. Well, that's not how my doctor's office does it. Apparently, they give it to you at your previous appointment. You drink it 45 minutes before your appointment, and when you get there, you let them know what time you took it, or what time you drank it, and that you're here to get your blood drawn for it. And then they get you back and get it drawn when they need to. So I have that all ready to go for next time. And my next ultrasound is going to be on March 19th. So basically exactly a month. Both of them are exactly a month from when I had them. So as far as symptoms, I mean, there's not really, there's not really anything like hugely different. I have had some swelling. I have not really had any swelling at all so far. But I spent some time over at my sister's house, and like I've mentioned before, we keep it pretty cold at my house, and she keeps hers like a normal person does at like 73. She had it at 76 the one day. That was the really bad day. And I swelled up, my feet swelled up, and my hands swelled up a little bit while I was there. And I was there for like 4 hours, so it was a long enough time span for it to swell up. So that's pretty much that. But like I said, if I'm not really hot, it doesn't really happen. I've had like my shoulder has been sore. I don't know if something's pinched or what it is. I actually did my sister's hair, and then I also dyed my hair, which I did the ammonia free, so nobody worry, it's safe. So I think I irritated it from having like my arms up from doing mine, and having my arms up for like hours doing hers, because we did like multiple colors and all kinds of crazy stuff, and it literally took forever. So I think I irritated it, but it's kind of like down my entire arm. It's just like this weird feeling. And then my hand swells up, and I don't know if it's my tendons or what, but I have this like vein that goes over my tendon here, and it gets really super sore right here, and this is where it seems to swell. And it's mostly when I use my hand a lot. Like today I was on the computer, which I'm on my computer every day, but I have a laptop and I'm left-handed, so I use my left hand to like click the little thing, and I think that movement is starting to get that really tender, but then it's like into my whole shoulder and arm. I had ice on it for like the longest time today. Other than that, I've had more heartburn recently. I think the last like 4 days in a row I've had heartburn. It was really bad on Tuesday? Monday? Tuesday. On Tuesday. It was really bad at the end of the day. And it wasn't even like burning. It literally felt like my stomach was like coming up into my esophagus or whatever. And I had taken 2 Tums, and usually 1 Tum will just knock it out and it's fine. But I had taken 2, and well, like I said, it stopped the burning feeling, but it just felt like my stomach was coming up. I think I ate too much and got really full. And then I have been feeling different movement. I still feel her kicks. Yesterday, she was like having a party all day, because usually I'll feel her quite a bit in the morning when I first get up for like an hour or 2, and then in the evening right before I go to bed, I'll feel her some too. But during the day, in the middle, I don't feel her a whole lot, maybe a kick here or there. Which, by the way, I guess are punches now, because all of that movement is still like super low, like her, where it feels like the kicks, like the strong hits on my stomach. Those are still all super low. But now I have this new movement, and this is what I was talking about. I think I know the day that she flipped into head down from breech. Well, there were 2 days that I felt really strange. The one day I was grocery shopping, and I felt this weird feeling, almost like when you go over a hill in the car or like on a roller coaster, and you kind of like lose your stomach, and just that weird, like, not queasy, but just odd feeling in your stomach, almost like butterflies. like high up where like my stomach is. I just got this kind of weird feeling in the grocery store, and I got dizzy for like a second, and then I just felt like kind of nauseous. And I thought, okay, well, I've just been out wandering around for too long. So, but it kind of went away, and then I ended up leaving the store, so then I felt fine. But every day I've kind of had that strange feeling at some point during the day, just that weird, like something's moving around in there, but it's not a for sure like kick feeling. So I'm thinking that her feet are up there and she's like kicking my stomach, like my actual stomach, and that's what that feeling is, but I have no idea. Then the other day was the day that I did my sister's hair. We had been out, and we went to the mall, went to Sally's to get the stuff for her hair, and all day I just had this feeling on my left hip, like her head was like on my hip, like something was getting pinched, and like she was laying, like part of her was like laying on my hip. And then that same day I felt a kick, like that strong kick feeling on my right side, and it was like she was like across, and then I think she like flipped. So those are the 2 days that the movement was like different. Then it's been pretty much the same since then. So that is it for symptoms. Now, I wasn't sure when I was going to announce her name, but I've been pretty sure about it for quite a while, and I've been absolutely sure about it for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I started actually calling her the name, and then on Valentine's Day, I don't really like Valentine's Day. I've never really celebrated it, and I always tell my husband, like, it's dumb. Don't get me anything. I'm not getting you anything. Like, I don't know. I just have never really liked it. So, he knows never really to get me a card or anything, and I'm perfectly fine with it. It's not a trap. And so I got up on Valentine's Day, and he had been home from work and was up still, and he was at the computer, and my recliner is like right next to where the computer is. And so I think the cat was upstairs with me, and I had carried her down. Sorry, my leg's falling asleep. I'm sitting on the floor again. And I had carried her down with me, and then I sat down in the recliner still holding her. And so I don't know if it's because I had her in my arms that I didn't see it. But then after a while of sitting there, then I put the cat down, and I got up and like went and got a drink or something, and then came back and sat down. And when I did, I saw there was a card sitting on the arm of the recliner with the remote over top of it. And I'm like, how did I miss that? He's like, miss what? What are you talking about? So I pick it up. It was not a card to me. It was a card to her. So I will let his writing on the card announce her name. I'm hoping that you can see it. So there is her name. It is Kennedy Lynn. And so yeah, he got her this card, and it's probably the sweetest thing ever. I talked about it on my Facebook, but I don't think I really said like what it said or anything. So it's just your basic Valentine's Day card. But then he wrote in it, Kennedy, I know meeting new people is hard, so I thought I would tell you a few things about your mom to make it easier. And then he goes on to say, your mom is this, your mom is that, you can tell her secrets, yada yada, like just goes on all these different things. And then at the end it says, most of all, I know you are going to love your mom because I love her more than anything in the world, and I know you will too. So it was very, very sweet. It's definitely going in her baby book. But yeah, so that's her name, and that's everything that's happened, and this is now 20 minutes long. So I'm going to do a quick belly shot, and then, I don't know, I'll make an update sometime in the next couple weeks. I don't think anything is really going to go on, but yeah, if something happens, I will do an update. So 1 second for the belly shot. Okay, got my little jean jacket on today. I like that you can see it sticking out past the jean jacket. I think it covers up most of the rest of my fat, so it looks mostly just like belly. But here is a front shot. Here's from the side, definitely getting more round up here. From the side. And on the other side. Whew. Gets hard to breathe sometimes. I still don't think that like strangers really know or can tell that I'm pregnant, but I definitely, and Jason all the time looks at me like, you look so pregnant. I'm like, yep, only gonna get bigger. So that is it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.